about the important things in life, water comes right to the top, and for good reason. First of all, it's important for the community, it's important for our families, and it's also important for the lawn and the landscape. Now, unless you live right next to the river, you're going to need to be able to turn on the tap in some way. So let's talk about water treatment on Backyard Farmer. We're here at the MUD water treatment plant, and we're talking with Scott Keep. Now, Scott, you're involved in a lot of the different operations here. Let's talk a little about the importance of water when it comes to the community.
Well, to start with, there's the basics and our primary purpose, and that's health and sanitation. Clean drinking water, and then water for sanitary purposes. The next thing that MUD is responsible for is fire protection. We have to make sure that we have adequate volumes of water throughout the city for fire protection purposes. And then we also have to have adequate water so the community can grow for economic reasons. And then the final thing, I think, in terms of importance to a community and the water, is the aesthetics of the community, the ability to use water, whether it be for fountains or lawn irrigation and those type of things.
Now, Scott, we're here at the Florence plant, but there are other plants that MUD uses to make sure that we have a great supply, right?
Actually, the Omaha community is very fortunate in that we have adequate supplies of water virtually all the way around our city. Now, this plant takes water from the Missouri River. It is our largest plant. We also have a plant south of Omaha in Sarpy County next to the Platte River, and we have a well field next to the Platte River, and it takes its water via the wells from the Platte River. We're building our third water treatment plant, which is Platte West, and it'll have a well field out next to the Elkhorn and the Platte River.
Now, Scott, we're concerned about having a fresh, pure, clean water supply. How does MUD make sure that that happens?
The EPA sets a list of contaminants that we have to test for and the levels that we have to have the water levels that we have to meet in our treatment process. Then once the water leaves the plant, we continue the testing process. We have over 300 sample sites throughout the city, and every day we're running around taking samples from those sites, bringing them back to our lab to test the water quality.
Now, you're always monitoring things, so what do you do when the demand for water is more than the supply of the water?
We have a systems control area. We sit and monitor the system with tremendous detail when we get into high pumpage times. But once we hit pressure problems that would impact our ability to operate the system safely, which means maintain pressure so that we have the water there for health and sanitation purposes, and also when those pressures get so low that firefighting would be impacted. That's when we have to ask our customers to restrict their usage.
Well, Scott, thanks for really filling us in on all the nuts and bolts of what you do here at MUD. Looks like you're really on top of things. And as we move across the state, there are other water treatment plants that are also very concerned. You know, Hastings and Stromsburg, as we move across the state. And the principles are really the same. The concerns are really the same. The contaminants, the supply, and all the rest. And then, of course, the homeowner, the viewer of Backyard Farmer Extra. There are things that you can do to do your part to really do a lot of water conservation. And that's what we're going to talk about next on Garden Steps.